It all started with what seemed like a harmless swipe right on Tinder. I met a guy who, at first, appeared charming and engaging. Our first date was a typical coffee meetup, where the conversation flowed easily. However, by the end of the date, I sensed something off about his demeanor, an intensity in his eyes that made me slightly uneasy. Over the next few days, that uneasiness grew. I began noticing him at places I frequented, the coffee shop near my work, the park where I jogged. Each encounter was explained away as a coincidence, but the frequency made my stomach churn with anxiety. The situation escalated when I started seeing him near my workplace regularly. It wasn't just uncomfortable, it was invasive. He knew my schedule, my routines, something that I had never shared with him. The sight of his car parked down the street from my office became a regular occurrence. Then, one evening, I saw him outside my house. That was the final straw. His presence was no longer just unsettling, it was threatening. I was no longer dealing with an overzealous admirer. This was a stalker. Fearing for my safety, I called the police. They took my report seriously, and with their intervention, the stalking ceased. I was left shaken, a shell of my former self, constantly looking over my shoulder. This experience has completely turned me off from Tinder. The app that was supposed to be a gateway to romance became a conduit for fear. I've since deleted it, vowing to never use it again. The ordeal taught me the hard way that behind the screen, you can never truly know who's lurking on the other side. Yesterday, my friend shared a tale so bone-chilling, it reverberated through my very core, a stark reminder of the lurking dangers in the seemingly mundane. This harrowing ordeal unfolded not long ago, involving a friend of a friend, and it's a story that must be shared for the sake of vigilance. The story begins with a young woman, like many, venturing into the world of Tinder. She swiped right, and there he was, charming, attractive, the epitome of what she sought. Their first encounters were the epitome of idyllic, casual coffee dates, strolls under the open sky, conversations that flowed like a gentle stream. He was a mosaic of everything desirable, and she, understandably, was enchanted. Their budding connection soon led to a third date, a seemingly innocent invitation to his abode for wine and conversation. Comfort and trust had been established, or so she believed, making the proposition feel safe, even welcome. As the evening unfolded in his living quarters, laughter and stories filled the air, a delightful symphony under the warm glow of companionship. But then, an insidious turn. Her head began to swim, the room tilting in a sickening dance. A terrifying realization dawned upon her. She was being drugged. Yet, this wasn't her first sinister waltz with such a peril. She recognized the sinister signs, having survived a similar nightmare before. With astounding presence of mind, she masked her growing terror, feigning normalcy with a cheer that belied her inner turmoil. Excusing herself under the guise of a restroom visit, she locked herself in, her fingers trembling as she dialed for the police, whispering her dire circumstances. Time then became a blur, her consciousness ebbing away into darkness. When she awoke, fragmented memories of being carried, a bag obscuring her vision, flitted through her mind, a protective shroud from the police to shield her from a horror too ghastly to confront. Later, at the police station, the jigsaw of her memory sought one missing piece, the bag over her head. The truth that unfolded sent icy tendrils of fear down her spine. The police had draped that veil over her eyes to spare her from the grotesque scene that awaited in the living room, a tableau of unspeakable intentions. The man, the architect of this nightmare, now resided behind bars. Yet the shadow of what might have been loomed large, a chilling reminder of the precipice she had unknowingly danced upon. My foray into the world of online dating took a surreal turn not long ago. I had connected with a woman through a dating app, and we agreed to meet for a casual lunch at a quaint cafe downtown. It seemed like a simple enough affair. The lunch began smoothly with easy conversation and shared interests. However, as the meal progressed, I noticed her behavior becoming increasingly erratic. She laughed too loudly at minor jokes and seemed overly animated, almost unnaturally so. Seeking to extend the date in a relaxed setting, I suggested we visit a local art gallery nearby. She agreed enthusiastically. As we strolled through the quiet halls, admiring the artwork, her demeanor took a turn. She began speaking loudly, making odd comments about the art, drawing uneasy glances from other visitors. Then, in the midst of a crowded exhibit, she suddenly turned towards me, her expression twisted in anger. She loudly accused me of stealing her purse, a purse she had, in fact, left at the cafe. Her voice echoed through the gallery, attracting a crowd. I tried to calm her, suggesting we return to the cafe to retrieve her purse, but she was inconsolable. Her accusations grew louder, drawing the attention of gallery security. The situation escalated until security arrived, intervening in the chaotic scene. They quickly realized the misunderstanding and escorted us to retrieve her purse from the cafe. Despite the resolution, the damage was done. The afternoon was tainted with this bizarre and unsettling incident. In the aftermath, I couldn't help but reflect on the unpredictability of meeting strangers. This experience has made me more cautious, a reminder that behind the screen, people can be an enigma. It's a lesson in the unpredictability of human nature and the cautious approach needed in the digital age of dating.